With less than 250 days until Election Day this November, former President Donald Trump is projected to win the 2024 presidential election with 312 electoral votes. That is, according to EP officials' latest data-driven forecast. Hey guys, it's Ryan Guest. Thanks for tuning in to another video from my channel. In today's video, I am going to take you through an updated look at my 2024 presidential election forecasting website, as I have just released another forecast update earlier this month on the 1st of March. You can follow along on the website at electionpredictionsofficial.com. It'll pop up in the top right corner and be the very first link in the description and comment section below as well. You can also see all of the data included in this forecast as well by navigating to this spreadsheet button on the forecast page. As I have mentioned in the last few forecast update videos, I'm currently updating the forecast once a month until the summer, as around that time we'll start to get more consistent polling data and you'll start to see more forecasts out there pop up that we can compare this one to as well. Now, right now, there is not much movement from month to month, as polling this far out from Election Day is not the most telling factor, and so currently the projections in this forecast are based on fundamental data like past results, trends, economic models, and demographics, the rest of which you can check out on this spreadsheet once again. That being said, the month of February did provide us with more data than any month of the 2024 cycle thus far, and I fully expect that to continue being the case each month as we get closer and closer to Election Day. Now, right now, Joe Biden and Donald Trump are officially the presumptive nominees of the Democratic and Republican parties, and so unless some unexpected health or legal issue comes up on either side, we are headed for a rematch this November. So before we dive into the rating changes in this month's update, please take this time to consider subscribing to my channel down below. According to my YouTube analytics page, less than 10% of my viewers over the last 3 months have been subscribed to the channel. I would really appreciate it if we could get that number closer to, say, 50% as we get closer and closer to Election Day. I put a ton of work into these videos, and your support means everything to me. Alrighty, now the 4 rating changes in this month's update are listed here. Georgia shifted from lean Republican to tilt Republican, Iowa shifted from safe Republican to likely Republican, Maine from likely Democrat to lean Democrat, and Pennsylvania from tilt Democrat to tilt Republican. So we see a split here as Georgia and Iowa shift in favor of Biden, while Maine and Pennsylvania trend in favor of Trump. However, the only change that actually moved any electoral votes is Pennsylvania's shift from tilt D to tilt R. The Keystone State continues to rock back and forth between Biden and Trump, and it is arguably the most important state on the electoral map this cycle, as not only is it extremely competitive, but with 19 electoral votes, it's also the biggest prize of these 6 key battlegrounds, thanks to Florida now no longer being considered a competitive state, due in large part to its rapid swing in favor of Trump over the last few years. Trump's electoral college vote count therefore increases from 293 to 312, while Biden's decreases from 245 to 226. That being said, while Trump's lead in the race to 270 increased, Joe Biden's popular vote advantage increased from 1.9% in February to 2.3% now in March, with the incumbent Democrat currently forecasted to receive 47.3% to the former Republican president's 45%. Independents and third-party candidates, meanwhile, namely Robert F. Kennedy Jr., are projected to receive 7.7%. That would be the largest share for non-major party candidates since 1996, largely due to the unpopularity of both Biden and Trump. Keep in mind that statistically speaking as well, a 2.3-point popular vote victory for Biden would be unlikely to secure him an electoral college victory. And obviously you can see how this plays out here, with Trump winning the electoral college by a pretty comfortable margin, yet losing the popular vote. In fact, a 2.3-point Democratic win nationally would be 2.5 points lower than Biden's 2020 popular vote advantage over Trump, and right around Hillary Clinton's 2016 popular vote lead of 2.2%. And remember, Trump won that election with 306 electoral votes despite losing the popular vote. All things considered, given the structural advantage that Republicans currently enjoy on the electoral map, the 2024 Democratic presidential candidate, Biden, would likely need to win the popular vote by at least 3 points, but more realistically 4 points to secure a minimum of 270 electoral votes. Now this tracks with the margins that you see in the key battlegrounds across the country. Biden trails Trump by 1.2% in Nevada, 1.3% in Arizona, 1.9% in Georgia, 0.3% in Pennsylvania, 0.2% in Michigan, and 1.5% in Wisconsin. Now, if Biden were to win the popular vote by 4 points, for example, that would be a 1.7% improvement on his current projected lead, and he'd end up winning Nevada, Arizona, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin, enough to secure him an electoral college win with 302 electoral votes. Comparatively, even if he were to win by, say, exactly 3 points, that just 0.7% improvement would push him over the top in Pennsylvania and Michigan, but he would still fall short with 260 electoral votes. So again, Biden realistically needs to win the popular vote by at least 3 points to have a shot, and more like 4 points to feel any sense of comfort in his chances in the Electoral College. Taking a closer look, though, now down at the map, the 6 key battlegrounds continue to tilt towards Trump: Nevada, Arizona, Georgia, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. Georgia has dropped back into the tilt Republican column from lean Republican, following a series of polls showing a tighter race between Trump and Biden than previously expected. Trump is now projected to win in Georgia by just under 2 percentage points at 1.9%, right on the edge between tilt and lean. The polling average here is now Trump plus 4.8, down from Trump plus 6.3 last month. The state of Iowa has also become slightly less favorable for Trump, going from solid R to likely R. Still, though, Trump is projected to win the Hawkeye state by 11.6%, a 3.5-point improvement on his 2020 margin. And keep in mind that Iowa has trended more towards Republicans at the presidential level than any other state in the country since 2012, relative to the nation. Up in the Northeast, in Maine, polls here have really just not looked good for Team Biden. The average here is only D plus 0.5, showing a much more competitive race than in 2020, when Biden led by double digits in final polling averages and ultimately won by 9 points. Now, whether this holds will be interesting to see, as Maine has voted blue in 8 straight elections and is not generally considered to be a pickup opportunity for Trump. That is, unless these numbers hold for him. Over in the Rust Belt, the Upper Rust Belt more specifically, probably the most important geographic region in this election. Remember that had Hillary Clinton won these 3 states in 2016, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin, she would have defeated Trump. And had Trump held on to them in 2020, he would have been reelected against Biden. So, essentially, this battleground trio has held the keys to the White House in both of the last 2 elections. Pennsylvania has flipped from tilt Democrat in February at Biden plus 0.2 to tilt Republican here in March at Trump plus 0.3. Pennsylvania and Michigan, Trump plus 0.2, are currently projected to be the closest states in this year's presidential race, as Trump is currently given no better than a 52% chance of winning either of these states. Still, though, even if Biden does hold these 2 states, he would still need to also hold one of Wisconsin, Georgia, or Arizona to be reelected. And on that note, digging a little bit deeper into the dynamics in Wisconsin, Wisconsin's weighted polling average is just R plus 1.5, while the betting markets favor Biden at D plus 0.5. Every single forecasting pundit or expert has this race down as a toss-up, but since that data point is tied to fundamental results as well, it ever so slightly leans Dem at D plus 0.1, given Biden won here in 2020. That being said, it's all about demographics though in Wisconsin. The state has an R plus 0.6 demographic favorability rating, ranking in the bottom half of all US states in proportion of residents with a college degree. It's also more white and rural than both Michigan and Pennsylvania, and has a more prominent pro-Republican shift over the last few election cycles as well. For comparison, let's take a look at Pennsylvania. The projected margin, again, is R plus 0.3, as Trump now leads in the weighted polling average by 1.4%. Yet both the betting markets and forecaster ratings favor Democrats. Sabato's crystal ball, namely, has the state leaning Democrat, while rating Georgia, Wisconsin, Arizona, and Nevada as toss-ups. And out of all of the states in the Rust Belt region, Pennsylvania is also the most demographically favorable for Biden and the Democratic Party at large, as it is the most college-educated, the most urban, and least religious. The Sun Belt, meanwhile, is the other notable geographic region to pay attention to this cycle. Nevada, Arizona, and Georgia, as well as potentially Texas and North Carolina. Nevada and Arizona tilting Republican is very much bad news for Biden's re-election prospects, especially Arizona, which has trended very strongly towards Democratic candidates in recent presidential years, the second most actually of any state since 2012. And Democrats have also won 3 straight U.S. Senate races by at least 2.5 points here. But again, Trump leads by 3.1% in the EPO polling average right now. In fact, the former Republican president has led in every single poll surveying the race in Arizona since last June. Nevada, meanwhile, is going to be one of newly elected RNC chairman Michael Whatley's primary targets this November, as the party looks to take advantage of their momentum in the state by flipping it into their column at the presidential level, just as they did the governor's office in 2022. An interesting note is that in every single election where the White House has changed hands, the winning candidate has brought a new state into their party's column. And so considering that each of the other 5 battlegrounds voted for Trump in 2016, that would mean that for Trump in 2024, it would almost certainly be Nevada, as he currently leads Biden by 3.6% in the EPO polling average. That just about does it though for today's video analysis. Let me know in the comments what you think of this map and the points made in this video. I appreciate all positive or negative comments. Shout out to my channel members on screen here. Thank you so much for your support. If you would like to become a member, go ahead and click the join button below this video to receive exclusive perks. Make sure to subscribe to my channel down below, and please leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it. You can check out more content from my channel here, and as always, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. EP out.